an efficient financial statement system for the national and county governments to ensure transparent financial management and standard financial reporting as contemplated by Article 226 of the Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, we shall do special audit to 3 counties. That is Nairobi, because we have been hearing the governor saying his own things, but on the grounds things are different. Narok, because of the Narok National Park, we want to do special audit. And Kiambu, where you have more than 5 service providers for revenue collections. We want to know what is cooking or what is happening over there. So, Speaker, during the period, the committee noted that most of the counties were processing payments of salaries outside the integrated payroll and personnel database, IPBD, Mr. Speaker. A number of counties, including Nandi, we were able to establish with the scandal of labor in Nandi, Mr. Speaker, which is forming the basis of impeachment of Governor Sang, Mr. Speaker, including even hiring the mother and close relatives, Mr. Speaker. Most of them were being paid through IPPD or payment vouchers, Mr. Speaker. Even Kilifi, we have Manuel, even Vihiga, even Migori, Kitui, Mombasa, Lamu, and even Narok, Mr. Speaker, a number of them. Even Meru. Meru is worse. I think they are paying it outside IPPD to ensure the side effects of what transpired in this House, Mr. Speaker. We know that the process of issuance, and I would appeal to members that my office, as the office of the Vice Chairperson of County Public Accounts Committee, is always open to share such information with members, of course in consultation with my chair, in no way insubordinating or usurping his powers. So, Speaker, this personal file numbers is inefficient and plans to engage the national government, State Department of Public Service, Mr. Speaker, and public service continue to do audit or human resource audit in counties. We would want to know the amount they are being paid and the reports and the number of counties that Public Service Commission do human resource audit. The latest being Nandi, we want to know how much was being used. So, Speaker, you can find in April 2023, the workers were 3,000. In April 2024, the workers are 5,000. A growth of 1,500 ghost workers. To prescribe, and we have to COG to prescribe, design an efficient human resource management system to be used by counties through COG. Mr. Speaker, to eliminate human resource-related complexities in counties, the committee pursuant to Article 235 of the Constitution of Kenya has directed the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Public Service, Youth and Gender Affairs, develops regulations to provide guidance and clarity to county governments on engagement of casual employees, contracted workers, acting positions, and development of progressive platform for management of county human resource. Colleagues, you have to agree with me that most counties are struggling with labor crisis, and it must be addressed, Mr. Speaker. We were able to establish in Tarakaniti, Mr. Speaker, that the governor had what we call road marshals that were being hired to maintain roads. Mr. Speaker, I'm just stating what is on my report, Senator Ledama Olekina. I'm not debating, I'm just stating what is on the report. I'm giving an example. I'm not debating, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Chelagai, Vice Chair, County Public Accounts.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Who are you answering? Because I give you permission.
Okay, I should proceed. Sorry, I stand guided, Mr. Speaker. I was using, for example, on this issue of human resource. For example, like Tarakaniti, they had what we call road marshals, in pretext of road marshals, but they are the governor's goons, Mr. Speaker, and we established during our hearings. So there is crisis in issues of labor, including even Vihiga. Mr. Speaker, sir, number 6, the committee also observed there was rampant voiding of payments by county governments. The approved cash plans by controller of budget are not adhered, contrary to Section 22 of the COB Act 2016. The committee recommends the controller of budget to institute mechanisms to enforce compliance of approved cash plans by counties to avoid this what we call rampant voiding payments, Mr. Speaker, and I hope members knows what voiding means. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the interrogation of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the financial year 2021-2022 and election period, The committee observed that some county entities did not submit or made late submissions of the relevant documents or provided false or misleading information to the Auditor General during the audit exercise, contrary to Section 62 of the Public Audit Act 2015. Mr. Speaker, on this, during election period, we found that people were doing voiding payments even 2 days before the election in August. They were voiding payments, Mr. Speaker, and I think members should note this. Following an engagement with the Auditor General, the committee shall consider introducing amendments to Section 196 and 197 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012 and Section 62 of the Public Audit 2015 to include administrative sanctions to individuals to not provide information. Mr. Speaker, it's worth noting to the committee that ISPAC members who are provide information, ISPAC, Mr. Speaker, they are taken what we call cross-professional misconduct and they are removed by the ISPAC, Mr. Speaker. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to thank members of the committee profoundly, including yours truly, for attending more than 40 committee meetings, Mr. Speaker. It's not easy, and it needs hard-working members who work tirelessly, Mr. Speaker. And the dedicated secretariat, courtesy of your office, that usually sit for long hours. Mr. Speaker, we have sat on Mondays, we sit from 8 to 6 p.m. in the evening, transacting serious businesses, because we want to ensure the financial audit review. Mr. Speaker, the committee, it is important I say this. We are trying, Mr. Speaker, to look at the financial years of the sitting governors. For example, in Narok, we are considering financial year 2022-2023 because we don't want to be morticians. We want to be objective, Mr. Speaker. The committee will use various strategies, including subcommittees and merger of financial years to shift to a more proactive mandate and to ensure the Senate current in its intervention. Mr. Speaker, with those very remarks, I thank you and I beg to lay them.
Vice Chair, next time, because your committee is actually our mandate as senators, is domiciled in your committee oversight. And also to check whether money that we give counties every year, like the discussion we had here this afternoon, we're trying to exchange notes on the way forward. Maybe in the future when we wish to get report county by county, not lump sum. County, the 40 meetings, you know, cannot be on one piece of paper like this. 40 meetings. If you examine only 10 accounts for 40 meetings, then you cannot just bring a paper and then give us as a report for all the 47 counties. So we need a report with just details of every county, what has not been done in those specific counties. So I think you can do better than that. Yes, 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I think what I can say, while I stand guided, through your secretariat, we normally table reports, and in those reports, we give directions and recommendations, but I'm happy we'll try and do a summary version of each and every county. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, but I stand guided.
Thank you. There is a statement by the Standing Committee, Chairperson Standing Committee on Loans, Transportation and Housing. That report is defunct. And then there is the Chairperson Standing Committee on Land, Environment and Natural Resources. Maybe the chairman has delegated to a member of the committee, no? If not, you also defer that statement. So we go to the next order. Oh, no, there is a statement by the Chair Finance and Budget. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you very much for this opportunity. This is a statement concerning the disbursement of funds to county governments in the present circumstance where there has been a delay in the enactment of County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 56-1A of the Standing Orders of the Senate to make a statement on the disbursement of funds to county governments in the present circumstance where there has been delay in the enactment of County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, The Division of Revenue Act, DORA, number 7 of 2024, was assented to on 10th of June 2024 and came into effect on 25th of June 2024. The Act divides nationally raised revenue between the two levels of government. The County Allocation of Revenue Bill, Senate Bills number 25 of 2024, was passed by Parliament on the 25th of June 2025 and transmitted to the President for assent. In accordance with Article 115(1)(b) of the Constitution, the President referred the bill back to Parliament with reservation. Parliament is yet to consider the President's reservation, and therefore the County Allocation of Revenue Bill has not been enacted yet. Mr. Speaker, sir, the County Allocation of Revenue Bill divides among the counties the revenue allocated to the county level of government on the basis determined in accordance with the resolutions in force under Article 217 of the Constitution. Therefore, the law contemplates that the allocation of nationally raised revenue is effected through the two-step process: vertical sharing of revenue between the two levels of government through Division of Revenue Act, and horizontal division of revenue between the 47 counties through the County Allocation of Revenue Act. With respect to the financial year 2024-2025, the first is complete as there is Division of Revenue Act in force. However, the second step is in abeyance as the County Allocation of Revenue Bill has not been enacted into law. Mr. Speaker, sir, as a result of this, the National Treasury has not made any transfers to counties of their share of nationally raised revenue. The delay in disbursement of county share of nationally raised revenue has paralyzed county governments, impeded their ability to discharge their functions, and is likely to lead to devastating consequences in crucial areas such as service delivery in health sector and other sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, following a request by the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on possible remedies to fund the counties while waiting passage of the County Allocation of Revenue Bill, the National Treasury and Economic Planning, through a letter dated 5th of August 2024, indicated that there are possible remedies for counties to access a certain percentage of equitable share pending the passage of County Allocation of Revenue Bill 2024. The National Treasury indicated that there exists a court opinion in an advisory opinion number 3 of 2019 and the provisions of Regulation 134(1), which allow the control of budget to authorize withdrawals of up to 50% from the consolidated fund based on last County Allocation of Revenue Act approved by Parliament for purpose of meeting the expenditure of the county government for financial year, for the current financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, further, during the meeting held on 16th of September 2024, with the National Treasury, and Economic Planning, the Cabinet Secretary indicated that the National Treasury was ready to avail some funds to counties in order to facilitate them meet non-discretionary monthly expenditures such as salaries. However, the National Treasury had requested for an advisory opinion from the Office of the Attorney General. Mr. Speaker, sir, Regulation 134 of the Public Finance Management National Government Regulations 2015 provides that if the County Allocation of Revenue Bill submitted to Parliament for a financial year has not been approved by Parliament or is not likely to be approved by Parliament by the beginning of the financial year, the control of budget may authorize withdrawals of up to 50% from the consolidated fund based on the last County Allocation of Revenue Act approved by Parliament for purpose of meeting the expenditure of the county government for the financial year. Further, in Supreme Court Advisory Opinion number 3 of 2019, the court had occasion to consider the question of allocating revenue to the county governments where enactment of DORA has been delayed and made the following findings. That should an impasse occur due to the failure of mediation process occasioned by the lack of concurrence between the two houses over the Division of Revenue Bill the National Assembly for the purpose of meeting the expenditure necessary to carry out the services of county government during that year until such a time Division of Revenue Act is assented to, can authorize the withdrawal of money from consolidated fund. The monies so withdrawn shall be included under separate votes for the several services in respect of which they are withdrawn. It is to be expected that each county assembly would have to readjust their respective budget and appropriation bills accordingly. And B, the percentage of money to be withdrawn be based on equitable allocation to counties in the Division of Revenue Act of the preceding financial year. In keeping with the spirit of Article 2222B of the Constitution, the money to be withdrawn shall be 50% of the total equitable share allocated to counties in the Division of Revenue Act. Mr. Speaker, sir, the opinion of the court as set out as shared was premised on the fact that Article 2221 of the Constitution provides an avenue for the continuation of national government business where Appropriation Act has not been assented to. The Constitution could not countenance that there would be any remedy for county government to assess a percentage of national raised revenue to avoid paralysis in service delivery at the counties. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, while the advisory opinion number 3 of 2019 dealt with the question of transfers to counties in the event of a delay in enactment of Division of Revenue Bill, the conclusion arrived at by the court supports provision of Regulation 134.1 that the counties must access a percentage of nationally raised revenue in the event of delay in passage of any one of the legal requirements to facilitate that. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee is privy to advise to an advisory that has been rendered by the Attorney General to the Cabinet Secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning, dated 20th of September 2024, in which the Attorney General canvasses the provisions of Regulation 134.1 of the Public Finance Management National Government Regulation 2015 and advisory opinion number 3 of 2019 and advises the National Treasury as follows: that the applicable law that would allow the disbursement of equitable share to the counties is Regulation 134.1 of the Public Finance Management National Government Regulation 2015. Both Regulations 134.1 and Supreme Court Advisory Opinion number 3 of 2019 provides the same remedy for disbursement of up to 50% of the total equitable share to county governments in the absence of County Allocation of Revenue Act. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the light of these provisions of the law canvassed in this statement, the Committee on Finance and Budget has written to the National Treasury and the Control of Budget to direct, as a matter of utmost urgency, the authorization and withdrawal of up to 50% from the Consolidated Fund based on the last County Allocation of Revenue Act approved by Parliament for the purpose of meeting expenditure for the county government for the financial year. I thank you. Signed, Senator Ali Ibrahim Robert, Chairperson of the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget, and the party leader of UDM. Thank you very much.
I'll give one or two senators to make a brief comment on that statement. Senator Olekina Redama.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me begin by thanking the distinguished senator from Mandera for being very diligent in ensuring that our counties get what is theirs. This Senate, Mr. Speaker, if I remember very well, passed the Division of Revenue Bill, passed the CARA, and the only thing we're waiting for is for the President to assent to CARA. I held an earlier consultation with the Chair of Finance. The only point that I could see that we are differing is that we already have DORA which has already been assented to. So the advisory given by the Attorney General is sound, but I still feel like even that advisory came short of saying the Senate, Parliament, the National Assembly, and the Senate have already passed a law. You cannot bring an argument and say that now because you want to amend a law, you stop operating with the existing law. So, Mr. Speaker, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of finance really ought to just follow the law and ensure that money is sent to counties. You know, we cannot say we are now setting everything in abeyance until we have a new amended DORA. In fact, this is going to be the first time that people are going to amend DORA. I've sat here, we've never amended DORA. You know, we passed CARA. CARA was passed by the National Assembly. It was just waiting for it to be ascended. So surely, we cannot be sitting here and actually even entertaining a debate of amending DORA. You know, the earlier debate that we had here, when that order was called, is because we know that this House passed DORA, and the law is in existence. So I don't even know why the Finance Committee entertained having this business of saying, let us use Regulation 134. Yet there's an existing Act of Parliament. So, you know, that is the only challenge we have. The only challenge we have, Mr. Speaker. And this is where now we have to argue and to see what will befit us. Is, one, asking ourselves whether, as the law, the Constitution, I believe it's Article 217 or 207, if I'm not wrong, where the share of revenue for the county government shall be released without undue delay or any deduction. Since we passed and we agreed to send 400,001 billion to our counties, if we're having a problem, a shortfall, Mr. Speaker, I don't believe that we are losing the 400 billion. This is going to be now the third quarter or the second quarter. Why don't we release money, and then in the process, if this House and the National Assembly agree to amend DORA, then the money can be reduced. So, Mr. Speaker, apart from arguing that we should use the previous DORA and the previous CARA and also the previous cash disbursement schedule as the law envisioned, let us continue applying the existing law that we passed so that we don't ground our counties to a halt. And you know what is so hypocritical, Mr. Speaker, is that currently the national government is continuing with its own programs. But our county governments are at halt because there's no money being sent to the county governments. So, Mr. Speaker, in summary, I want to beseech my colleagues.
Senator Olekina,
That is
I request the two senators standing between the chair and the member contributing.
Guys.
Learn very fast to your seats. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for protecting me. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this statement does not require